Okay, army blockers on. Loaded into the game, I suppose. Oh, okay, both players, Loupi and Hannodins, are doing picks and bans for now, so we can just wait a bit before the battle begins. Anyways, welcome everyone, Tactical Lich here again with another duel between two great players, this time Hannodins versus Loupi. This is actually not a BBB Season 1 playoff. Actually, Loupi very nice of him reaching out to me before I went on leave and invited me to cast this finals of the tournament hosted by the ODM clan Trials of Asuryan. So basically, a bunch of playoffs happened earlier, which unfortunately I was not able to keep up with that. I wasn't even in at my home at that point. But over the time, they managed to came out with two finalists, Hannodins and Loupi, both of them very good players. I don't actually get to play against them that much. I think I played against them maybe once or twice before, but yeah, got absolutely wrecked in combat. But yeah, so we'll be just showcasing a best of 7 series between these two high-tier competitors as we wait for them to do some picks and bans. Loupi will be starting off with a High Elf pick, banning Warriors of Chaos, Slanesh, and Dark Elves. And now we wait for Hannodin to pick, to get his pick. So yeah, we shall be chilling here for a bit, and yeah, totally expecting some amazing gameplay here between the two players. And I hope everyone load into the video just fine, because YouTube has been being weird to me for the past couple days. And it seems that both players are just taking their time with the picks and bans. And hopefully everything hopefully will be ending within the next couple hours. Since both players, I assume they're living in the French time zone right now. So, since ODM is indeed a French clan, so I assume they do have some other commitments, and I also assume a lot of people do have commitments today, since it is the Mother's Day. For a lot of countries, not for the UK though, for whatever reason, the Mother's Day was in March, so that was rather strange for me. But anyways, it seems that Hannodins will be going Skaven. High Elves versus Skaven. I feel like this is a tricky matchup for the Skavens these days, since a lot of their missile weapons teams are a lot weaker. Cypher, if I don't see you guys play Kolag versus Orion, I'm disappointed. I would love to see these two on the field, but unfortunately they're not exactly the competitive lords. But who knows, maybe they'll decide to have some fun in the game and come up with some weird army picks. We shall see. Now, Skaven versus High Elves, I honestly would expect a ton of mortars usually, but then the High Elves can usually just rush or kite the Skavens. But I feel like picking archers into Skaven is a horrible idea, simply because everything can be just bombed to the death by a combination of stuff. Explosions from mortars, poison wind gloves, not quite so, but Jezzails do have very good effectiveness against infantry, because Jezzails projectiles, while not having the most burst damage against single entities, it does do penetration. So it can hit multiple infantry models at once, and archers, well, unfortunately, will get picked off by the superior range, and even if they manage to get in range and start trading, well, guess what? Giselles have armor and missile block chance, making the archers a lot less effective. So honestly, I feel like any archer pick against Skaven is very risky. Not saying it's impossible, but it's still a very, very risky endeavor. Like, personally, I would just go on for a full melee rush. But, well, that said, I'm pretty sure these players know what they're doing, so we shall see what happens. I personally have not played either of the factions for quite a while, so I don't know what exactly would entail in this fight. Anyways, yeah, we shall wait a bit. Also, this is like an I assume this is like an ungodly hour for a lot of American players. What time is it in America even? Which might explain, like, the Mother's Day factor plus the stream time. This is like 2 p.m. over in the UK, so probably like super early in the morning for the US, which kind of explains the viewer count right now. Not trying to be pessimistic here, but yeah, it's been a while since I had a single-digit stream. Anyways, it seems that Skavens are ready, and oh, interesting army build. Quite spicy. Well, Loupi going for a high elf build. Now, I'm not going to talk about the army builds for now. Let's just get those army blockers off. Wait, I swear there were more people waiting in the stream waiting room than people watching the stream right now. What the hell is happening? Is YouTube being dumb again? Okay. For armies here, we have a front line of Storm Vermin, actually a lot of just melee troops and a ton of slingers. Multiple Skaven Slaves and Storm Vermins. Wait, Skaven Slaves, Storm Vermins, Sword and Shield variant, possibly trying to deal with any Archer Fire, and then a front line. Oh wait, Skaven Storm Vermins with Sword and Shield can actually trade well into Rangers, I assume. And what else? A ton of Gutter Runners and Slingers, just a lot of skirmishing firepower, plus a bunch of Red Ogres for extra mass to pin down enemy cavalry or any mobility. In the skies for wait, no, forgot to talk about the leadership. Leadership, Grey Seer of Ruin, coming with, I assume, Howling Warp Gale, Warp Storm Scroll, Howling Warp Gale, just a lot of aerial control so that the slingers can do more damage. There's also the Morsketos Hellion, providing some pretty solid single entity fighting power. Now for the High Elf army, a ton of Shadow Walkers, even, not even Shadow Warriors, just straight up the elite version Shadow Walkers. The Grey, which is Shadow Warriors of Regiment of Renown version, 4 of the skirmishing infantry, and a couple Warlands. Actually 4 Warlands, 3 Warlands plus a single Silver Helms. A few Rangers on the field, and that's about it. I do agree with the pick of War Lions right here, where their anti-infantry plus armor piercing would be very effective against weapons teams, but there's no weapons teams here, so we shall see what happens with the High Elf build. Tackless in the skies on his Skittles bird, coming in with a few spells, including his Bound Fiery Convocation, Net of Amontok to immobilize enemies. There's also the Regrowth spell for healing, possibly for himself or for the War Lions, and Flock of Doom. He's also have a Wake of Fire, which is... Did they add the Pigeon Bombardment? No. Okay, this is not a Skittlebird. This is an orange. Regular Phoenix. Wait, this is not an Arcane Phoenix. This is not an Arcane Phoenix. Wait, what? Since when did Teclis have a regular Flame Spire Phoenix mount. What? 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 Anyways. On the far side, the Storm Vermins are actually getting shot up pretty badly by the Shadow Walkers, even with their heavy armor at 90. And there goes the first unit of Shadow Walkers. No, there goes the first unit of Storm Vermins. Now the Slingers are taking heavy losses as well. Now here comes the Howling Warp Gale upgraded version just to pin down Tackless, but Tackless responds with the ward save of 40%, the Potion of Shiroi, keeping himself tanky, just absorbing a lot of that damage from the Slingers right now as he is immobilized. But birds, being knocked around a bit, just dodging shots unintentionally, really hurting the Skavens here. But damage is damage, and he is continuously being shut up pretty badly. On the far side, all these Skaven's units are being shot up by the High Elf skirmishing forces. War Lions are moving in. Now, the Skaven slaves will probably just get charged down by a single impact, but the thing is, Red Ogres and Morsketos plus a bunch of Skaven infantry are pressuring the High Elf skirmishing corps, and they will need to back off before they take too much damage. Rangers being charged by the Red Ogres plus being shot by Slingers would not be enjoying too much here, but on the other side, there is a lack of Skaven forces to protect the Slingers, so War Lions coming in, fighting, just straight up routing the Skaven slaves while being charged by the Red Ogres. War Lions here, as expected, beating down a whole lot of Skaven chaff, but there are more Storm Vermins running in and will be dragging them down in melee combat. But yeah, wait, no. Something needs to start healing the Rakras Hide over here as their HP is running low, but overall it seems that the Skavens are up on balance of power, but High Elves... No, Skavens are not up on the balance of power. Instead, the High Elves are up on the balance of power. I was thinking blue color is High Elves. It just matches, like red for Skaven, blue for High Elves seems to match better. But oh no, a big catch for the Skavens here. Howling Warp Gale keeping Tackless who dive down on the ground in place. And now the Morsketar is howling. What the hell was that damage? Oh, that's like 3 skirmishers shooting at the Morsketar, straight up nuking the Skaven monster. A little bit of janky hitbox. Wait, that's a lot of friendly fire here, and Tackless is almost killed, and now down to 400 HP. And now things are looks a little bit even for. Wait, what was killing him? Wait, what? Something killed him. What happened there? Howling Warp Gale, does the Warp Storm... Oh, the Warp Storm Scroll just straight up drain away his health, and the friendly fire plus the pursuing unit straight up killed Tackless. What the hell? That was some really brutal friendly fire here, as some of these Shadow Walkers and Shadow Warriors managed to unfortunately hit Tackless in over there, and with the death of the Orange Bird, yeah. The High Elves are in a massive back foot as there's no more leadership support, no more spell support, and all they can rely on is all these Shadow Walkers and Shadow Warriors who are running low on ammo. Running really low on ammo indeed. A point-blank shot from all these guys are just blasting away the Gracier, but here comes a dreaded 13th spell coming in, and the Storm Vermins are doing some massive damage to the vicinity of the High Elf units, plus all the units rushing in, pressuring away the High Elf skirmishers will be doing some pretty nice damage, considering they still have quite a bit of ammo left on these 2 units who have taken substantial damage from the dreaded 13th spell. Warlands are sacrificed here, trying to just slow down the Storm Vermins, allowing the Shadow Walkers and the Grey to retreat, but I'm afraid that is just not quite fast enough. Rangers here being cleaned up by a overwhelming force of Storm Vermins and just a lot of Skavens in general, Red Ogres as well. And yeah, things are not looking good for the High Elves as soon as Tackless died. Warlands are still roaming the battlefield, but the Rahagra's pride are gone. They are no longer the prideful lions, but instead just scaredy cats at this point. Skirmisher is still firing, but unfortunately, Hannodins' numbers might just be too much for these guys. Of course, Shadow Walkers can still fight in melee with their anti-infantry bonus, but constantly being poisoned and debuffed, I don't know how much damage they still have in them. Anyways, over here, Skaven slaves are continuously run down by a combination of, well, as I expected, the Shadow Walkers actually beat back the Skaven slaves with their anti-infantry bonus. War Lions run them down a bit with the fear effect, basically fear bombing their leadership, and now it's moving on to a different unit, the Gutter Runners. And yeah, Skavens continuously moving up, but yeah, just not a lot of damage overall. The Grey is now being charged by the Red Ogres, being hit by a little bit of a Scorch. Doing some very massive damage with all these crossfires still, but the thing is more and more High Elf units are being worked down, and yeah, there's not much left on the field other than, okay, this one very tattooed War Lions, and the rest of the Shadow Walkers and the Grey are also running out of space to kite. So there goes the first game, and Hannodin will be taking the verse 1. We'll be taking the verse victory. For the army performance is really unorthodox build for the Skaven here, with a ton of just infantry in general, like not even a single weapons teams, going for a, like using the Storm Vermins to absorb the hits of all these Shadow Walkers, plus they trade well into the non-armor piercing Rangers, and then the Red Ogres will be just overwhelming this rather narrow build of the High Elves. The Skaven Slaves and, yeah, the Skaven Slaves and Gutter Runners all took some massive damage from the Shadow Walkers, Red Ogres, some of the Red Ogres, and the Morsicators as well. But the problem is, yeah, once Tackless was pinned down on the ground and just got sniped, there was really nothing the High Elves can do here. Maybe perhaps if he was still alive, he can drop some fiery poop with his Fire Phoenix, Flame Spire Phoenix mount, and slow down the enemy push with Net of Ammontox and whatnot. But once he died, there is just no coming back for the High Elves. Now first of all, GG to both players here, and now Hannodins and Loupi will be moving on to the second pick. Roughguard, the ever chosen, do it. Well, we do need an ever chosen, or maybe better yet, Kolak the Sun Eater in this fight. I mean, I did put him on. Yeah, I mean, I did put Kolak on the thumbnail, so hopefully we'll see both of the meme lords, but so far not gonna see them not gonna see that much. The Phoenix King, do I do my work for school or watch the stream, or just both? You see, you can do your work and have the stream as a background noise. That will be a perfect combination of both. Loupi had the wrong banner, deserved loss. Oh right, this is the Kalidor banner. I guess you are strictly a Lothern person? How the hell do I know which one's the better banner? Anyways, army picks, it's gonna be... I'm waiting. Is this Slanesh from Hannodins first? And banning some stuff? Let's see. Slanesh banning Vampire Counts, Grand Cafe, and Empire. Wait, Slanesh actually, well... Okay, Slanesh banning Vampire Counts and Grand Cafe makes sense. I'm just thinking whether Slanesh banning Empire is a good pick, because before the patch, Slanesh was very advantageous, like benefiting a lot into Empire as a matchup. But ever since the nerf to Hellstriders, this might be a decent choice because, well, without Hellstrider, it's much harder to breach the Empire State Troop boxes. Infantry can do work, but once they got hit by Burning Head, then the Slanesh infantry will still get broken. Ooh, the fast and the slow. It seems we're gonna be, yeah. It seems we're gonna be having a battle of the fast versus the slow, Slanesh versus Nurgle. Unless Loupi just pull a switcheroo here and switch over to another faction. But we shall see. Anyways, forgot about that. Oh, yep, it's a switcheroo. Dark Elves, I guess. Anyways, let's just do that. Forgot about the scoreboard. And here we are with a little bit of a scoreboard. Also, let me know if like the volume settings and all that is correct or anything. Or having some issues. Either ways, we will be waiting for the army picks to happen. It seems that it is indeed Slaanesh versus Dark Elves. Before the patch, I would say it is rather equal. Like, I would say it's an equal matchup. Granted, I don't play either of these factions, but Soul Stealers can be effective against Slaanesh, while Slaanesh having Azazel is possible to snipe out, or actually counter-snipe Malekith, but I don't know how it works now in the new patch. But what the hell is this spicy build? Again, spicy build indeed. I'm not sure what Hannodins picking right now, but Loupi is going for some interesting army picks for the Dark Elf army. So we shall see. Okay, finally, Hannodin starting to pick the army. We have 2 Exalted Daemonites. Nope, nobody heard anything. I was on autopilot for like a second there, sorry. Nope, nobody heard anything. We are having some interesting army picks for sure, though. Yep. How would I play this matchup? Slaanesh can no longer rely on. Yeah, Slaanesh can no longer rely on Hellstriders, so it has to be. Oh wait, I do have a video about Slaanesh new powerhouse units, new key units coming up in a couple weeks or so. But yeah, it's gonna wait a while because I've got other stuff scheduled earlier. But Slaanesh really doesn't have much options here, other than like a couple elite units. Like Marauders are no longer as strong as they used to be, and Hellstriders are also severely nerfed, and they just kind of suck these days. So I don't really know what Slaanesh can do. Perhaps, but the Dark Elves, their Cold One Rider sucks. For whatever reason, they used to be quite strong for a while, but then they got back into the dirt now these days. Anyways, now that both army picks are done, I can finally show the armies here. Indeed, there are Exalted Daemonites. They are possibly one of the best Slaanesh units right now, since Hellstriders are crap. And we also have 2 Fiends of Slaanesh. As for the front line, a single, not sure if it's a Chosen of Warriors, I need to check because I don't remember their unit cards, but 3 Hellscourge, Chaos Marauders, and also an Exalted Keeper of Secrets with a Lore of Shadows. For the elite unit here, Chaos Warriors with Hellscourge, and a single Hellstrider unit just for a little bit more of a mobility. On the Dark Elf side, a front line of Dress-Spears, very standard stuff here. I'm not sure why nobody picks Bleak Swords these days, but we will. Yeah, I feel like against Slaanesh, Bleak Swords is slightly better with their just better general melee stats and not investing in bonus versus lodge. But I guess Loupi wants to hold with the better melee defense of the spears. I don't know. But anyways, 2 Black Corsairs as a bit of a skirmishing forces. With their armor, they should be able to survive for a relatively long time compared to other missile troops against any Hellstrider's attempt. And we also have a few mobility here. Doomfire Warlocks, 2 of them in fact, and then 2 more Cold One Knights. The Doomfire Warlocks do have poison and, more importantly, magic attacks, so ignore that physical resistance on all those Slaanesh forces. Lesser Doom Bolt for more magic damage, and Soul Blight for a little bit of a debuff. Not that Soul Blight are any use against the Slaanesh army, since they mostly rely on bonus, on charge bonus, and also they don't have much armor. But the other unit here, wait, do they have to? Did they bring the Regiment of Renown version? No, they did not. So really coming in with those Doom Bolts and magic attacks. In the skies, Raven Heralds, protected by the Crows of Cain, and also Marathi. That's hot. Isn't? Are we picking Mama because Mother's Day? Anyways, I digressed. For the spell casting loadout, we have Power of Darkness, Wand of the Caridon, and Soul Stealer. While the Exalted Keeper of Secrets have Enfeebling Foe and Melkoffs, which is quite effective against Dark Elves, really. Already draining away the health of the Raven Heralds, who does have 24 unit models and not that much HP. Very, very obvious dent in their HP already. While they themselves... oh, okay, interesting. Another Melkoffs as well from Mama Morathi herself. Although she is taking some damage for some reason. Oh, Power of Darkness on herself so that she can Soul Steal her, I guess. But yeah. Seductive Glory on the Raven Heralds. A really nice catch there. Already triggering Rampage on these very expensive aerial cavalry. Forcing them down into... some of them down into melee engagement? For some reason, these are just standing up in the skies, but the rest are... But either way, they're taking a lot of damage, so... good news for them, for the Slaanesh army, I guess. And another... Malkoff's Mystifying Miasma, and they are pretty much done for. Now, the front line, Hell Scourges and Hell Striders are rushing into melee engagement. A little bit of a Soul Blight here, debuffing the weapon damage, actually quite significantly on these Fiends of Slaanesh when it's stacked up with poison. So they're pushed back, while the Chaos Warriors of Hell Scourges are got hit by a Wand of Caridon. Wait, no, something was killing it. Now, Wand of Caridon goes into the Exalted Daemonettes, which is a major concern for the Dark Elves here, because there's not a lot of units good against them, other than perhaps the Doomfire Warlocks, especially the Black Corsairs. Their armor is nothing in front of the Exalted Daemons of Slaanesh. Oh wait, no, Doom Bolt has been dropping into the Hell Scourge Warriors. So that's where the damage came from. The Bound Doom Bolt on the Doomfire Warlocks. Anyways, over here, Cold One Knights being worked down. Doomfire Warlocks successfully repelled the Devoted Marauders and the Hellstriders. The Crows of Cain are also going to come into support, I assume. While the Doomfire Warlocks are trying to get away from the Fiends of Slaanesh, but it's not going to be easy because Fiends also have 95 speed. Marathi using another spell here, Power of Darkness, causing damage to herself while buffing up her spell mastery. Wait, damage? What the hell does... Oh. Power of Darkness is buffed indeed. She can do a lot more damage then. She should be dropping into fight or something, instead of just sitting there trying to recharge magic. Anyways, on the other side, the Cold One Knights and Doomfire Warlocks are overloaded by the Exalted Daemonettes. Well, truly one of the best units on the Slaanesh roster right now. Their elite melee stats, plus armor piercing, plus the charmed effect, providing -8 melee attack, really just trade well against anything in melee. The only thing that they're weak to is pretty much magic damage and missiles. And neither of those are in much presence on the battlefield right now. Crows of Cain drops into melee combat, but they're now surrounded by Fiends and Hellscourge Marauders. They are probably not going to last long here. While the Blackout Corsairs continues to kite away while being chased by the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, Malkoff slowing down the Bringers of Beguilement, while the Blackout Corsairs unleashing some crossbow bolts into the fray. Witch Elves that I totally missed in the army deployment are now fighting blow to blow against the Exalted Daemonettes. And Enfeebling Foe is massively debuffing their stats so that they can't really do much damage against the Exalted Demonids right now. Very unfortunate for the Dark Elves here, while the Black Ark Corsairs are almost caught up by the Bringers of Beguilement, who are now slightly slowed down by the Routing Dread Spears. In the skies, the Crows of Cain somehow survived being surrounded by a ton of stuff, so they're dropping in and routing off the rest of the Hellstriders, while on the other side, 2 more cavalry being completely routed away by the Exalted Demonids and Fiends of Slaanesh. So there's no more mobility presence for the Dark Elves, making dealing with the Fiends of Slaanesh a really tough task. The Crows of Cain are slowly being chased down by the Hellstriders, while over here a massive Soul Stealer... Narcissism pinning down everything in the vicinity here. Morathi trying to snipe out the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, but the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is fighting back hard. Euphoric effect from the Bringers of Beguilement here, making Morathi lose her control. Soporific Musk lowering her melee stats, and she cannot cast any stuff like Soul Stealer or whatnot. Though for now, for some reason, she has resumed control of herself, and she needs to cast a Soul Stealer soon, just to heal up her HP. Otherwise, she'll get caught by the Bringers of Beguilement once again and just get killed. But nope, it seems that Malkovs will be cast onto the Dread Spears instead, and well, there goes the Dark Elf army. Morathi? That's hot, I guess. She does have Enchanting Beauty as one of her abilities. Anyways, army performances-wise, Morathi actually does surprisingly well in this matchup here. The Malkovs are really effective against physical resistance and expensive Exalted Demonids and a bunch of other Slaanesh units. But the problem is Black Ark Corsairs just really... Okay, I was about to say they don't really pull their weight, but I take back what I said. 1,400 gold on these ones. The other one not so much. Got shut down early. The thing is, Core 9 still sucks. So 171 gold on these guys, being completely ran down by the Exalted Demonids and Fiends of Slaanesh. Really poor performance. These guys are not that much better, only 700 gold. And the Doomfire Warlocks also underperformed in this matchup. A massive loss of the Raven Heralds early in the game as well, being drained away by Malkovs and then just rampaged by the Slaanesh abilities or spells, and then they just kind of got sniped out in melee combat and obliterated by constant Malkovs, mystifying Miasma. Crows of Cain not doing much damage here, unfortunately, and the Dread Spears not performing spectacularly either. I'll probably just go for Bleak Swords, really, to deal with the enemy infantry. Not that it's going to make much of a difference. These Fiends of Slaanesh are actually doing really well against the Dark Elves here. I suppose they do magic damage, ignoring the physical resistance on the Doomfire Warlocks. They also do armor piercing, making them great to counteract the Koa Knights, while the Exalted Demonids, as expected, just slaughtered the Dark Elves. The Bringers of Beguilement got hit by Malkovs and the Black Ark Corsair, so not a lot of... Like, they couldn't really earn back their own value, but rampaging Morathi there was quite key to keep her in place, and just got surrounded and killed by all kinds of Slaanesh units, including the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, they themselves. Yep, themselves. Now for the other units, Hellstriders, the Hellscourge one... no, these are regular Hellstriders. Did pretty decent, almost earned back their own value, while the infantry didn't really do much here. Most of the work were done by the 2 Fiends of Slaanesh. Surprising enough, they're actually outperforming everything else on the army right here today. So I guess we should give them another chance, I suppose. But anyways, we will bring back up the... we'll bring back up the army blocker. Phoenix King, wrong banner again. Okay, what are the right banners? Give me the faction names, just to show me your opinion. Like, I don't even know which ones are the right banners. Okay, let me just grab my water bottle. And changing the scoreboard for a bit. Yeah, let me just change up the scoreboard. It is 2-0 so far. Hannodins won twice. High Elves Lothern. I guess Dark Elves is Nagaron. Dark Elf and Wood Elves, I don't know the name. Ah well. Rip then. Is it gonna be Slanesh from Loupi? Let me just check the Discord. Slanesh banning Teach Dark Demons of Chaos and Coast. Interesting. But Hannodins did have a track record of using Demons of Chaos. And actually winning. So this is not exactly a bad pick. And Coast with their pistols might just be enough to fan off the charge of Slanesh. Alongside with some nice tanky units of the Lamprey's Revenge. But let's see what Hannodins will be going for in this battle. Slanesh banning Teach is absolutely a very understandable choice, honestly. Oh, it seems that we have a Warriors of Chaos pick. Are we gonna see Slanesh Hellstriders versus Hellstriders? Hopefully not. We might be. Personally, I like to bring Archaon in this fight, but then again, I don't really. I only fought this. I never fought this matchup in the new patch, but the last time I played in the last matchup, I was trying to use Chaos Knights, and they are supported by Archaon, but Archaon solo carrying the entire game, but the Chaos Knights not quite pulling their weight. But let's see what the two. Excuse me there. I did have lunch earlier before the stream, so it's afternoon where I'm at, so yeah. Anyways, let's see what the two armies are going for. Wood Elves Lorellan and Dark Elves Bloodhawk Coven. If I remember correctly, that's the rather red one, or maybe it's just called Bloodhawk and I'm thinking of blood. But okay, interesting. I might check them out. Do they have special abilities like that one buggy Chaos Dwarf faction? Both are black. Okay, I see. I see someone is a man of good taste. I appreciate black color schemes, really. But yeah, we shall wait and see. We have some interesting army picks. I'm just seeing the first few units and I'm already liking this pick of Hannodins. I'm loving this pick. Although I feel like it also resembles a bit of my previous oh yeah, that looks a bit like what I brought against Slanesh like one time. I still lost, but it was a fun game. Anyways, you'll see what I mean when we load into the battle. I'm really liking the Warriors of Chaos pick, and I'm rooting for it. Despite I know honestly we should hope for Loupi's victory right now for a longer series, but well, there's still 2 more games left in the series, so we shall see. But the Warriors of Chaos pick really making me wanna just go. Yeah, just go. Yeah, the Warriors of Chaos pick here with Hannodins really making me want to support the Warriors of Chaos. Unfortunately enough, though, spoiler alert, we're not seeing Kolak, so yeah, we're not gonna see Kolak versus Orion. Now, Loupi seems to be ready. Now we're just waiting for Hannodin, who is picking rather cautiously. Wait, what is this? Yeah. Wait, what is this? This is spicy, not gonna lie. Very spicy. What is this army pick? Is this even fulfilling the 400 unit model count? The minimal requirement for an army size for fruit rules. What the hell? Also, this series is actually played on the bug fixes mod created by Loupi, which did a lot of fine tuning on the, all kinds of different army rosters, fix some collision damage, and tweaking a lot of the game mechanics, just to make things more balanced. Is there any other new changes? I'm not quite sure. I need to check Steam actually. Yeah. Unit aura. Let's see. Forest Stalkers removing. Yeah, there's a lot of changes introduced, but I've never actually tried this mod out, because I usually just hang around ranked multiplayer, which is quick battle ladder, or I recently started Vermin League, but that's about it. Anyways. Alright, time to turn on the fan again. It's getting hot in both my room and the PC, so excuse me for that fan noise, if you can hear some additional fan noise at the background. Don't really have a choice right now. This is mighty interesting. There's still some funds for the army. Oof. Okay, what I'm seeing here is interesting enough, yeah. Interesting. I don't know who's gonna win, but wait, what? Okay. Just judging from the army build. Okay, never mind. No spoilers. We'll talk about it once we load in. We will talk about the army builds once we load in. And it seems that both players are ready, and we can start unblocking the army. The reason why I like the Warriors of Chaos army so much is because, see these? 3 aspiring champions, one of my favorite unit in the entire Warriors of Chaos roster. Not because they're good, but because they look badass. To a point, I like them to a point that I actually started making builds centered around them, although they still suck and are not that competitive even after the overhaul. But yeah, they can be an interesting pick. I even tried them once on Domination, with like a full front line of aspiring champions pushing back Bretonnian chaff, and that was pretty fun. Anyways, army build. 3 aspiring champions mixed in with Chosens of Slaanesh. Yeah, 2 Chosens of Slaanesh, and then 2 more Marauders on the side, and then Chaos Trolls for a bit of armor piercing here, and then 2 Marauder horses, and a single Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire flying in the skies, and less susceptible to any kind of Slaanesh mobility, as long as it stays up in the skies and not damaged too much by stuff. And it's not like there's a lot of stuff for the Slaanesh army available to the Slaanesh army to damage the Sorcerer Lord anyways. For the skirmishing forces of Slaanesh, 3 horsemen, just regular horsemen, and then a few devoted Marauders of Slaanesh here, not going elite. This might be a mistake because the Burning Head is right there, ready to be cast right on top of the aspiring champions. The Burning Head won't hurt the aspiring champions much, but it's definitely gonna hurt those Marauders. And then Hell's Riders of Slaanesh, and 2 more Seekers of Slaanesh for more armor piercing, Fiends of Slaanesh as well, and then there's an Exalted Keeper of Secrets providing Withering for armor debuff. It's actually a pretty interesting spell. I use it sometimes as the Empire, and or sometimes as Striker. But yeah, not a lot of armor debuff, but it does have a -8 leadership effect. Overcast is extends the effect range, and then there's a Pit of Shades for more damage potential. Probably would be good against the Chosens if they do not dodge in time. Enfeebling Foe to ruin enemies' melee stats, and that's about it for the armies. Actually, there are 2 Hellstriders on the flanks, and just a lot of Hell Scourges. Marauder horses are chipping away the health of the Marauders right now. Not much are done. Yep, we just kind of wait for the engagement to begin right here. Slaanesh do have the mobility advantage, and they do have initiative. They're chucking in some javelins onto the Chosen, and perhaps some of the aspiring champions. Both are poor targets, really, especially the aspiring champions with a total of 55% missile block chance and heavy shields, heavy armor. A little bit of nice dodging from Hannodin there, dodging a massive volley of Marauder javelins, while these Marauder horses are just pushing away the Hellstriders as they do not want to get tangled upon the aspiring champions and Marauders. Now, the first Pit of Shades are wrecking the Chosen of Slaanesh here. They try to dodge, but just not quite enough. They just don't have enough speed as an infantry. While over here, a massive catch for Hannodin here, doing some massive damage to the Hellstriders. But on the other side, the Slaanesh mobility are charging in, wrecking some of these Marauders being affected by Soporific Musk here. And then also multiple Hell Scourge Marauders are pushing in to fight. They do want to be careful though, because the aspiring champions are here to fix them in place, and a massive burning head just roasting all these slightly armored defaulted Marauders, hurting their leadership as well. So Seekers of Slaanesh will be engaging into combat, but here comes the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. Oh, that's a lot of mobility, just backing the hell out of the engagement, trying to avoid any fights. But this, not sure if it's a good call right here, because these Slaanesh forces are isolated, being locked in place for a short while with the Tormentor's Sword. They're dishing out some pain in return, but with so much units coming in, just wrecking these Seekers, things are not looking too good for the Slaanesh army. A breath attack as well. Noxious breath. No, this is not a noxious breath, just adding poison. But anyways, here goes the some of the Slaanesh units. The Seekers' expensive cavalry indeed are hacked apart by the aspiring champions. Chaos Trolls also dishing out the damage. There are some of these Marauder horsemen dishing out damage against the Chosen, but the Chosen are just standing there with the heavy armor and 60% of missile block chance, not giving a damn. Now over here, Seekers tries to get into melee combat, but they are just swarmed by the bodies, the sheer numbers of horsemen. Another burning head going down the line, roasting the devoted Marauders, but this time a very nice dodge from Loupi, mitigating most of that damage, but very unfortunate there, hitting another 2 units of Marauders. The Exalted Keepers of Secret will be cycle charging, but at this point things are not looking too great for the Slaanesh army, really. Hellstriders are charging in, but they have already lost both units of their Seekers. And actually there are 3 units of Hellstriders? Yeah. Anyways, the 3 units of Hellstriders will be taking a lot of damage among the Chosen, who have insane melee stats. 56 attack, 52 melee defense baseline. They're just not giving a damn. While the Warriors of Chaos in general is just having a massive, quite a massive advantage in terms of balance of power. And yeah, Marauders surrounding the aspiring champions is not going to do much against them. Their melee stats are solid even after the debuff from Soporific. Must still have 30 attack and 40 defense. Actually, something else is debuffing their attack here. Glamour of Slaanesh with the spell cast. And a massive breath attack onto the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, doing some pretty neat damage. And all these devoted Marauders are just worked down by the sheer elite infantry of the Warriors of Chaos there. Especially aspiring champions do have that splash damage, as almost like a monstrous infantry there. They just do splash damage and can hit multiple unit models at once. So very unfortunate for the Marauders here. They just can't fight against the aspiring champions. I was actually checking on the army builds earlier from both players, and it seems that Loupi was considering bringing a full front line of Chaos Warriors with Hellscourge instead of Marauders, but it seems that he tried to go for a wider army pick, and it did bite him in the back once they loaded into the battle. Now, balance of power is massively in the favor of the Warriors of Chaos forces. And yeah, I don't think that the Slaanesh forces can do much here. They're forced to take a lot of unfavorable engagements, constantly being hit by the chosen of Slaaneshes here. Now, Wyrmling is here to debuff everything's armor, but that's not going to be quite close enough, as the Chaos Sorcerer Lord just sitting in the skies, blasting away at the Exalted Keeper of Secrets HP, while the rest of the infantry support, mobility support are all running for the hills. Army losses is hit, and the Exalted Keeper of Secrets will be fading back into the warp. Hey everyone, nice to see you here. Lucina, I actually don't know why Tactless, since when Tactless has a Flame Spy Phoenix mount. Do they even have like, what mounts do Tactless even have right now? Do they have a Frostheart Phoenix mount or something? Because last I checked, which is like months ago, Tactless still only has a what? Has a Rainbow Skittlebird mount. So I need to check. Cypher. Okay. Hank Saras. Hello. Nice to see you here again. Doomsage. Aha. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? I'm doing alright. But yeah. World Peter. The Dawi love for Phoenix King. Human Boy. Nice to see you here again. Cypher, he has a Horsey and an Arcade Phoenix. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh wait, no, it's the mod. It's definitely the mod here. The mod gave Tactless the Flame Spy Pigeon. That's what that makes sense now. It's the mod. It's the mod. It's not the meta game. And yes, do what Human Boy told everyone. Drop a like, guys. Would appreciate that a lot. Anyways, Loupi is getting the Hannodins experience. Indeed, Hannodins is a very strong player here. Got some really interesting army picks as well. The aspiring champions didn't quite earn back their value, but considering how healthy they are all the way till the late game, their sheer melee stats, magic attacks, and also splash damage just cleaved apart all these poor devoted marauders and held their own even against a swarm of Slaanesh mobility. Marauders got killed, but they're chaff, so who cares? One of the chosen got wrecked by the Pit of Shades, the other not so much, and still have quite a bit of health left. While the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire did a lot of damage with those burning heads and just jumping around the battlefield, dropping breaths left, right, and center. Chaos Trolls did some meh damage, but really it's just burning heads in this game. And like, despite not doing a whole lot of damage in the entire roster, the fact that there's still so much balance of power remaining by the late game makes the Slaanesh being crushed in terms of balance of power, or yeah, just not able to do much here for the Slaanesh, as the Exalted Keeper of Secrets faded away. Well, no, that was army losses, so that was probably also some other changes to the army losses. That makes the game dynamic a little bit different than we usually see, but overall, pretty solid fight so far. Unfortunately, this build is not geared towards such a heavy metal build of the Warriors of Chaos, so yeah, very unfortunate there. Kind of, Hannodin basically won this game, one half of this game by the army builds alone, I have to say. It seems like the chat has some bully situation going on, and I'll just let it play out and decide who is the ultimate bully. It definitely isn't me, for sure. Now for the army picks here, Wood Elves versus Beastmen, a grudge match for sure. Beastmen banned Vampirates and Norska and Lizardmen. A pretty solid ban choice, and then we have a response with the Wood Elves. Okay, cool. Now let's see what happens here. Hannodin is indeed ready. Wait, I haven't seen this matchup in like ages. It's been a while. Recently I've just been seeing stuff like that either is Dark Elves or just stuff involving the new Game 3 factions. But I like both army picks here. Both of them are quite spicy indeed. Army blocker off, and let me just quickly. Here you go, human boy. It's 3-0. But yeah, as Phoenix King said, Hannodin is a really freaking good player. I don't think I've ever won against him. Out of the one or twice I've matched up against him. Human Boy Assist is a dating sim streamer. Did he stream dating sims on Twitch? I actually missed out on those, but yeah. I think I've saw some of those before, just not sure where. Now, for the army builds here, now that I'm catch up with the chat, we have a ton of Ungor Spearmen hurt. As the sole front line here, not really much, just trying to get some cheap front line, but I argue it would just be better to just go for the cheaper Ungors without spears, but either ways, I guess that will work. A ton of Centaurs and a ton of Centaurs with throwing axes, some of them the Groot Hoofs of Wolf's Run. And yeah, just a lot of mobility in general, preparing to overwhelm the Wood Elf skirmishing forces with, well, just a ton of mobility. Even getting the Sons of Goros here with their magic melee attacks and armor piercing. In the skies, Malagor the Dark Omen coming in with Flock of Doom and Enfeebling Foe. Haven't seen this guy in a while. He can fly, just roam around the battlefield and drop spells left, right, and center, but this time the Wood Elves are not kiting at all. Well, perhaps a little bit in the skies with the Hulk Riders and the Glade Lord, but mostly just trying to go on a full-on Vanguard rush for Dryads and a ton of Wild Riders. 4 of them, in fact, and going for a rather narrow build with the 2 Hawk Riders in the skies. There's also a single Branch Wraith here coming in with Earthblood and Withering as well. Not sure. I don't think Withering in this matchup is a good idea. It's probably better to just go Melkoff and just drain away the health of all of these Centaurs. But yeah, just my personal opinion, just my personal 2 cents. Wait, Panzer models? What is that? Is that some tank girl dating simulator? Status is it realistic to expect land battles with capture points make its way into base game? I don't have much hopes, because if land battles with capture points would pretty much, like, it's an overlapping between domination and land battles. It's gonna replace either of the game modes, and I don't think CA would be bothering about that or risking replacing domination, which they have worked and invested a lot of effort into, I guess. But personally, I just don't like it. But what do I know, right? I'm not a game dev. But yeah. Personally, I don't like the game mode, so I can't really talk much about it. Shit. Oh, we have so much Vanguard deploying action here. Look at all these stuff just trying to rush each other. Oh, this is beautiful. Yes. Just go full Vanguard when in doubt. Everyone's just Vanguarding. Even if you can't Vanguard, you're just kind of like, or immediately like rushing in. But anyways, both armies are... What the hell? Why are you running? Why are you running, Loupi? Just get those Dryads into melee combat. Probably just don't want to get charged by Sentinels, but you have to take the fight anyways. Like, don't run. Just take the fight. Anyways, Hannodins do have a massive mobility advantage on this flank here. Everything is just moving onto this flank, trying to overload the Wood Elf forces, and are doing quite some nasty damage against the Dryads. Wild Riders will be moving in response, while the Hawk Riders charging straight into Harpies. Not exactly a great fight for them, as they are overwhelmed by the numbers of the... overwhelmed by the numbers of Harpies, getting a lot of damage from possibly some of throwing axes as well. And there goes one unit of Hawk Riders, and the very good trade for the Harpies, still having over half health left. While Wild Riders here, slamming into some of these lightly armored Beastmen forces, Dryads punishing the Ungor Spears heavily, while that one unit of Vanguard deployed. Wild Riders are trying to move back in to help, but microing are all over the place right now, as the Glade Lord is trying to snipe out Malagor the Dark Omen, while one of the units of the Hawk Rider is unfortunately being destroyed and gonna be seen off the battlefield. Still have quite some distance from the white line, but the Harpies will keep up with them. Centaur slamming into the rear of the Dryads over here, but a charge from the Wild Riders will keep them honest, while Malagor is now being isolated in the skies and sniped out by a combination of Hawk Riders and the Glade Lord herself. But the sacrifice of the Beastman Lord did buy time for the Beastman units to possibly regroup and start overwhelming the very isolated forces of the Wood Elves here. You can see that these Wild Riders are all isolated, overwhelmed by the Centaurs, and are not quite enough to hold their own in melee fights right now, as the sheer numbers of Beastmen are just perhaps too much for these guys. So in the end, it might just come down to whether the Glade Lord can solo everything on the field, which is a rather finicky thing to do, because there's still quite a bit of throwing axes on the field. Yep, 3 units in total, still have a lot of firepower to shut down the dragon in the skies. The Hawk Riders are indeed escorting Malagor off the battlefield, and they can probably try to drop into the Centaurs here and then hit them up with the Glade Lord. Glade Lord still have some nets left, so that will be key in catching some of these Centaurs. Branch Rave not having Malkovs here is a really major issue here, as the Centaurs have nothing to counteract them, and they can just sit back and relax shooting at the poor Glade Lord, while the Glade Lord will have to try to tank it out with the total of 45% missile resistance against physical missiles. So that's actually pretty darn good. Anyways, Breath Attack absolutely missing the entire unit of Sons of Goros. Very unfortunate there. But yeah, Breath Attack's just not having a great time overall. And Earthblood, upgraded version, getting some more healing for the Hawk Riders here, while the Sons of Goros will be charging in, slamming them in the face to get some more damage done. But yeah, I do think that Malkovs should have been brought on the Branch Wraith, though I'm not sure if this version of the game has the spell on the Branch Wraith. Anyways, Wood Elves are behind on balance of power once more. Things are not looking great for sure. Only the Glade Lord is left on the field, and she doesn't really have the kind of speed to catch all 3 units of Centaurs, who are just chugging their throwing axes onto the poor Glade Lord on the Dragon Mount, which has a rather big hitbox and is very unlikely to dodge the shot. Still, we shall see what happens here, as the fight is taking really close to the white line. Taking place really close to the white line, meaning that the Glade Lord can quickly route everything off the field as long as they're just running towards the white line. Now, throwing axes continuously chuck into the Glade Lord, but all that physical resistance and missile resistance means that he's just not taking that much damage. Interesting enough, but yeah. Anyways, these Harpies, are they gonna be returning? Nope, they're just going straight off the white line. And the Glade Lord is still tanking, dropping in once in a while, trying to chase off the Grook Hoofs and the rest of the Throwing Axe Centaurs, while the Dryads, being an infantry, just kind of vibing inside the middle of all these Black Horns Ravagers. But yeah, here comes the crossfire of all those Throwing Axes, and Glade Lord is just straight up not having a good time. Earthblood is attempted to heal back up her health, but this might just be too much. The armor piercing, the volume of fire, the armor piercing and all just might be too much. Victory is indeed in the grasp of the Beastmen at this point. And other than that, trying to pin down the Centaurs and stopping them from preventing the exit of the Glade Lord, but unfortunately that is the 4th game of the series, and that shall be the end of the series, unfortunately. Now let me just quickly save the game, and I need to check out some units of this. I do want to check out some units of this game. Anyways, congratulations to Hannodins for taking a very clean victory here, and GG to Loupi as well, putting up a really tough fight, but just unfortunately it seems that Hannodin do have his build figured out before even starting the game. A lot of these builds just straight up countered what Loupi was bringing, and yeah, things were pretty rough for Loupi indeed. However, I still think that, okay, there might be some adjustments that could have been made to the build and making them more viable. Instead of Hulk Riders, just bring 4 more Glade Riders, and probably would have worked much better for the Wood Elves. But yeah, overall, a very solid game from the Beastmen here. The overwhelming mobility is just simply too much for the Wood Elves to deal with their light armor. And yeah, things are not fun for the Wood Elves for sure. While the infantry just kind of push the Wood Elves and overwhelm the Dryads with their sheer numbers. Glade not doing much damage. The Branch Wraith not doing much damage either. The Wild Riders did their best, but just not enough to carry their weight. And Hulk Rider is always a not too cost-efficient unit. Very unfortunate there. Definitely not pulling their weight early in the game, getting shot by Throwing Axes and overwhelmed by Harpies. Straight up died and routed. And yeah, that should be the end of the best of 7 series. GG to both players here. Actually, are these guys still playing for the rest of the games? Let me just quickly check. You like dating the tanks? Let's be fair, who doesn't like dating a sexy tank with the sleek lines and thick body? Wait, are we... Okay, not sure what they're up to right now, but anyways, let's just catch up with the chat. And Big Amorex, indeed, indeed. I don't know, like, I used to play a lot of World of Tanks just because I really like tanks. So, tank dating sim, understandable. Out of all the factions though, all the armies, so I think my favorite is still the Germans. Wearable alert, I suppose, but I just feel like the angular armor just looks really nice and suits my aesthetic, I guess. But yeah. Why are you running? Why are you running? I guess I'm a meme now, hey? Phoenix King. Oh, okay, yeah. So it seems that Hannodins and Loupi are just discussing the Hulks versus Harpies fight, then I shall do my own thing on this side here. Now let's check what changes. Does Tackless have other mounts in this mod? The real question here. No, they just straight up removed the Arcane Phoenix and gave them Flame Spire Phoenix instead. This might be a bit weird. I guess this gives them the Flaming Poop, but like, just from the I guess Teclis can use the Bombardment ability, but Arcane Phoenix as a mount also have other stuff like Attuned to Magic for more resistance, physical resistance, and whatnot, making it probably better suited for Teclis as a mount. Yig Tiger used to be my favorite. I think my favorite is actually Yak Panzer, because Yak Tiger is a little too clunky. Yeah, Yak Tiger looks a little bit too clunky, and I never actually managed to get to that point. I just kind of died. Due to poor internet, I just never had a good match in general. Open it. Okay, let me just save this image. Because I've got some other stuff to show you guys, I guess. Let me see. Where can I save this? Whatever. But yeah, I think that Flame Spy Phoenix is not exactly a great pick for Tacklets here. Even with, especially with Wake of Fire, it's like you got 10 use, but I don't think you can easily earn back 200 gold from it, I suppose. Either ways, let me just try to set up some stuff on the stream image. Stats. Create new. Give me a second, guys. That. So basically, Loupi did send me a stats for the games played in the tournament, and we can check out some interesting things here. But yeah, like this mod is quite interesting with some interesting changes, but yeah, it's still the problem of mods, right? You need like specific mods to play it, and you need your opponents to have the mods. But once in a while, for like a tournament thing, it can be quite fun. Wait, where did I save my stuff? Shit. All right, here you go. Here. Okay, so it's all white. Very unfortunate there. I can't really do much. Can we zoom in? I haven't. But yeah, we have a full sheet of stats in this match right here. It's too big. It's too big for the screen. Ah. So there are some weird things in this. Wait. But yeah, there are some interesting things in this battle here. Let me just try to find. I don't want to cast my screen either, though. So this is a bit rough. How am I supposed to show this thing? Hold on a second. Okay, I did not think this through, and I need to think this through next time. Anyways. Screenshots. Okay, we have some stats here, and then I can just... can I capture this and a screen capture? Yeah, fuck it, I'll just do a display capture. Oof, beautiful. There we go. No. Okay, so here we are. Loupi very nicely made faction pick list for I assume from the entirety of the tournament. And of course, as expected, we're seeing a lot of Dark Elves on the being picked, and there's almost no one picking Kislev here, as expected. It's mostly Dark Elves. Wood Elves surprises me because usually I wouldn't say Wood Elf is like a first pick faction, more like a second pick in general, because, well, Wood Elves have some really finicky matchups. For example, well, mostly it's just the box factions, Grand Cafe, no, not Dark Elves, Grand Cafe, Bretonnians. Things are better for Wood Elves against Bretonnians now that Zotes are quite strong, but Dwarves, Chaos Dwarfs, and Grand Cafe are all very, very good against the Wood Elves. So it's more like a second pick faction, which can be good in certain specific matchups. Slaanesh is still pretty popular, and even after the nerf, I suppose. And Dawi, well, Dawi does Dawi things. Surprising enough, Beastman is a pretty common pick faction, I guess, suppose. A lot of their units are still very solid, especially with Traitorkin. High Elves, as expected, pretty solid as a faction. Empire, a very versatile faction, so personally one of my favorite factions, really. I basically just main two factions, Empire and Ogre Kingdoms, and yeah, mostly these two. Where is my favorite Ogre boys though? Ogre Kingdoms, decent enough, I guess. 3.9% of the matchups. The funny thing is, somebody picked 5 times the Demons of Chaos and won 4 of them. So honestly, the win rate is skewed. Like, how are you getting 80% of win rate on Demons of Chaos? And Loupi are, no, not Loupi. That's not Loupi. That's Hannodin. Hannodin very conveniently admitted he was picking all 4 of those Demons of Chaos. So I guess this set of data is damn skewed. Hannodins is a demon main, I suppose. Those Kislev picks are both Loupi. Wow, you mad lad. Actually picking Kislev in tournaments. Yep, two Kislev picks, 1 win, 1 loss. Oh god. That's a spicy pick for sure, but yeah. Frequency of matchups. Most common, Greenskins versus Wood Elves for some reason, but yeah, I don't think the frequency of matchups, I won't be delving them into that too much, but Loupi, it would be great if you can just point out which one is which here. Like, mark, it would be nice if you can color code these dots over here and mark the trend, so we will know which one is which here, not just all 100% blue dots. So anyways, let's look back at the win rate and pick, yeah, win rate is the more interesting thing really, but Dark Elves, surprisingly, having 10% of the games being Dark Elves, they only have 30% roughly of win rate. Now that actually surprises me because they're still commonly considered as a very strong faction, but I guess players are figuring out how to deal with Dark Elves. Personally, I like playing against Dark Elves as the Ogre Kingdoms. It's like one of the more reliably strong matchup for the Ogre Kingdoms here. I guess everyone else is just figuring out how to deal with Dark Elves, and the Dark Elves are not as they are still very strong other than Soul Stealer and Cheese Runners, they do not have that much of an advantage, and outside these two units, and once players figure out how to deal with these two units, they're kind of meh. Dark Elves still very strong as a faction, but I guess it's just people learning how to play into them. How to play against them, and just making in return making Dark Elves just a little bit worse for wear. Dwarves as well, not doing too great. I guess whoever boxes in there deserves that punishment. Empire getting a solid 50% win rate, so no complaints there, since I do like playing as the Empire, being a very versatile faction. Just a good first pick overall. You can use it to counteract. Like if you just ban, like even okay, actually no, I don't think if I first pick Empire, I don't even have to ban any factions, like other than perhaps Vampire Counts. Like I have a build that is designed to deal with dwarves, and then I have a build designed to deal with I haven't tried it out yet, but designed to deal with dark elves. And yeah, as a dark elf, as an Empire player, you basically have the tools to deal with every single faction. They're not specialized in anything, but that means they also can do everything. Just bring something else to counteract something when you can't outmatch them in the same field. Being a flexible unit, definitely, being a flexible roster, it's certainly one of my favorite. Now, Greenskins and Grand Cafe not having the greatest of times here. Grand Cafe, a very static faction, not having much options in fights. You either do a melee box or you either do a ranged box. So, yeah, it's rather easy to deal with. Like, you kind of expect them to play in the same way usually. So, not a lot of options for them, and so like it relies on the opponents making mistakes or not knowing what to do. High Elves still a very strong faction. Khorne somehow getting some pretty decent picks. Like they're still not the greatest faction, but somehow people manage to like they're still relatively popular as a pick. Lizardman doing having a pretty solid performance. Norsca, surprising enough, lost more than they won. I do think that Norsca is in a pretty good place right now, so I'm surprised that Norsca is just not getting that much wins. Ogre Kingdoms, no complaints, 58% win rate. Like, yeah, Ogre Kingdoms is just strong right now. With like, there's not a like unlike Dark Elves or the Dwarves, you can't really just pick one unit to go into every single matchup, other than say the Slaughtermaster with Great Maul. But they have the tools for every single matchup, and that's the most important thing, really. The Ogres, despite looking just like a simple monster faction, they actually have a very versatile playstyle. You can box, just like how I do with Man-Eaters and Lead Belchers. You can kite with all those Lead Belchers, Iron Blasters and whatnot. And you can rush with their units as well, with a sheer number of Ogre Bulls. As well as just crushing them with crushers, of course. Or you can also just go monster mashing with double stone horn. So just a very flexible faction. Not a lot of infantry support other than Nobblers, but honestly just good. Skavens did pretty decently. Slanesh did okay. Also had a very solid performance. Slanesh is still quite strong with the Daemonids and Fiends, I suppose. Tomb Kings, they are shit now. 18% win rate. Yeah, very unfortunate for them. Like, their infantry sucks, and their monsters also are not the greatest either. You don't see the Cambrian Sphinx anymore. Cambrian Sphinx, Necro Sphinx, you don't see them anymore. Just with Sharp T spam and possibly Laser Eyes of the Sepulchral Stalkers. So yeah. Let's see the rest. Tinge is a weird thing where like once you can shut down Kairos and the Soul Grinder, there's not really much they can do. Well, the Vampire Counts, they have a surprisingly low pick rate. Only 3 games. Like they're the second lowest. Just the first lowest one is definitely Kislev, and then it's the Vampire Counts. I guess once they got cut in terms of healing, they just are not as good. Warriors of Chaos still having a decentish win rate, but I guess it's certain units carrying the faction. And what else? What else is probably one of the most popular and the most successful faction in the faction wars? Not faction wars, in the tournament Trials of Asuryan. But yeah, pretty solid. Like 65% win rate. I guess whoever played Wood Elves know what they're doing for sure. Loupi was drinking for 12 hours straight yesterday. Well, that's kind of on you, I guess. Anyways, let's talk about some tanks and catch up with the chat. Yak Tiger used to be my favorite, but Panzer IV is the best tank of World War II. It's the best tank of World War II, possibly only in, possibly only in Germany though. Like, I would say there's still a lot of good tanks contending the Panzer IV, but yeah. Like, quality-wise, perhaps Panzer IV, but for cost effectiveness, it's definitely T-34, 8.5 possibly. But yeah, anyways, Jagdtiger is very, very slow. Yeah, that's why I'm not looking forward to move on to Jagdtiger. I used to like playing Stuk 3 in World of Tanks because it's short, has a low profile, and it has a massive gun that can like outshoot stuff 2 tiers above it. So it was like a really good tank in general. And yeah. I think Vampire Count and Grand Cafe got banned a lot. Okay, yeah, that definitely was the case here. It's definitely the bans. It's definitely bans. Like, even if they don't get banned, I guess they, like, whoever not banning them, I guess just have a confident enough matchup. And just basically played into the Vampire Counts with a advantage, knowing what to expect and all that. So yeah. How to deal with Dark Elves: don't blob up, take a Lord deck and keep away from Malekith, ignore Malekith unless he lands, in which case swamp him with Cheap Calf to limit his agency, and that's it. Well, you forgot the Ogre way to do it with it. Hit him with monsters and just beat him down with anti-large armor piercing. But yeah, overall that's the case, and perhaps just keep shooting him with stuff. That's my solution as the Empire, I suppose, but yeah. And the golden rule is he always has another Soul Stealer, no matter how badly you think he doesn't. He does. Unless he's reaching his heal cap, then he doesn't have a Soul Stealer. Because that's, if I remember correctly, he just has enough magic to get to his heal cap with his Soul Stealers, right? Anyways, that's it for today's stream. I shall turn off this display capture, remove that, so I don't accidentally show my screen. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream so far. Very solid game from both Loupi and Hannodin. Congrats to Hannodin for winning this Trials of Asuryan with a fine, clean victory. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you everyone in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out.